Hello everyone and welcome back to another Liberty Weekly Let's Play. I am your host Patrick McFarlane, and this evening we are going to be continuing our adventures in the newest installment of the Doom franchise. Tonight we are playing Chapter 6, Kadingir Sanctum. I think that's how you say it, but don't quote me on it. And the story of the evening is that I've returned to using a keyboard and mouse. It's been working a lot better. Hashtag PC Master Race. And so, here's our narration. The Hell Portal is now open back on Mars. Lost in the Hell Dimension, you are unable to stop the demons from absorbing our world. Kill everything that you see and find a way back to Mars. And we're going to be doing just that. So, into the fire. Now, I'm going to be honest with everyone. I had a real shitty day. So, tonight it is midnight. The wife is in bed. The cats are fighting.
He is here.
He is here. That's me. And I'm turning this skull. And one thing that I noticed while playing with keyboard and mouse, to be honest, I already filmed this mission like 3 takes. The wife and I were doing Let's Play the other night.
We'll set up a portal device at the tomb. Use the light poles to mark our path.
And there was already a squad of Marines here, I suppose. Like I was saying, the wife and I already played this mission a few times. I don't know why it didn't work out. Oh yeah, I kept dying, that was why. So I'm going to try and not die in this Let's Play. If that happens, apologies. I'm going to keep pressing on here. Hopefully my commentary will make it interesting. So yeah, I had to deal today with Xfinity, which is the monopolized cable provider in this area. I think there's one other option. I can't remember. I think it's CenturyLink in the Twin Cities area, and they're a real bitch to deal with. So one thing they do is they hit you with the deal for like the first, I don't know, year of a contract or something like that. And then after the year's up, they jack the rates up. And if you want to get the rates back down, you have to physically go into the store and request a change. So I was doing that. Just sucks to deal with. And then I got freaked out because I recently switched to a Samsung Galaxy S8. And the phone itself is very, very awesome. Has revolutionized my life. But apparently there is a data cap limit feature where you can set your phone to automatically cap your data, and I wasn't aware of this. So when I hit 2 gigs for the month, I was freaking out and thinking that for some reason Best Buy, where I got the phone from, started me on their own plan or something like that when I was supposed to be on my parents' plan because I'm a poor millennial. And I was worked up about that. And I think I have anger issues, man. Like, I let things get to me and I really shouldn't, but it kind of ruined my day. And then there was, well, it didn't ruin my day. There was something else. I was supposed to be doing some volunteer work with a specific libertarian-themed agency, and that kind of fell through because of a miscommunication, and it just has me a little down, to be honest. So I'm going to spill my guts to my podcasting community. But of course, that miscommunication, it was just that, a miscommunication. There was no foul play or anything like that. So it's just the way that things work. The reality of professional situations. So no hard feelings there. It's just a bummer that it couldn't materialize. Okay, so I am doing a beer review tonight. I'm going to be talking about a specific beer. Oh, there's flames. Over the summer, or over the weekend rather. Oh, I got caught in the corner, damn it. Well, that's the first death. As I was saying, over the weekend my buddy had a birthday, and we're both metalheads. obviously. And there is a new microbrewery, or newish microbrewery, that is in Lino Lakes, Minnesota, which is about 20 or 30 minutes. Oh, it brought me all the way back here. Are you freaking kidding me? Well, I'll rush through it just for you guys. It's about 20 minutes north of the cities, and it's called Hammerheart Brewery, or Hammerheart Brewing, and it is Norwegian black metal themed, and it is very badass. And so we went there, had a lot of hard-hitting, high alcohol content brews to try, and I even took a growler home. It's called Thor's something. I can't remember the name, but it is a ghost pepper porter, and it was an imperial porter, ghost pepper imperial porter, and it was like 10% alcohol content. And I brought home a growler, and we were drinking that during our last Let's Play, and maybe that's why I died so much. It was entertaining, but it didn't make for a very good Let's Play, so I'm redoing the mission now, as you can see. Very good beer. It's gone now. But I'm reviewing a different beer tonight. It is that of my hometown, Chippewa Falls. I don't live there currently, so don't come trying to find me or nothing, but it is Leiningkugels is the pride of Chippewa Falls, as it's known. My parents, who grew up there, called it Squaw Piss because Leinie's original apparently wasn't very good, but it was cheap back in the 80s, so they drank it. And Leinie's has a bunch of specialty brews now. That's kind of what they're known for, moreover, or more so now, and it's very good. My favorite is, oh, let's see here, I gotta remember. Gotta focus on not dying this time. I'm a little concerned that my voice isn't loud enough compared to the game sound, so I'm gonna turn it up when I get a chance in a second. Leinie's Red, though, is one of my favorites. It's a very good beer. Otherwise, Honey Weiss is pretty good. They got a whole mess of them. There's a whole slew. A lot of the ladies like Summer Shandy. I'm not a huge fan of the Shandies, but they make some good beer. But tonight I am drinking a beer that I've drank several times. Oh yeah, I have a rocket launcher. Oh, that's terrifying. Okay. It is the Leinie's 150th anniversary beer. And 150 years ago, Jacob Leinenkugel started the Leinenkugel Brewing Company, aptly titled. Just like the Liberty Weekly podcast, the libertarian-themed podcast that I do. But anyways, back in the day, Jacob Leinenkugel started the Leinie's Brewing Company, and it has persisted ever since, even through Prohibition, when the brewery was brewing like sodas or something like that. And it's cool. There's what they call the Leinie Lodge in Chippewa Falls by the river there, and you can go tour it. It's become quite the tourist destination, and Chippewa's even started revitalizing the downtown area, which, if it's instigated by government, we know it's not a good thing, but at least it has partially the effect of making the downtown area very, very nice and raising property values there. Although there is a park downtown that they redid a park, and it's right by the river, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but the park will flood every so often, and I've heard it was intentional, but you never really know. Oop. Okay. So what else did I do today? I had class this morning. Oh, well, I'm gonna crack this beer. Oh, that's better. Okay, so this beer is the Liney's 150th, as I mentioned before. It was brewed in coordination with the Hofbrauhaus in München, Deutschland, Germany, and it's very good. I think it's an Oktoberfest style, but it is very, very good. Oh, Liney's, like I said, I should have said before, Liney's Oktoberfest is my favorite Liney's beer, I'd have to say. I really like the Oktoberfest. Which coincidentally is traditionally takes place in September, if I'm not mistaken. So this level design is also a little bit confusing. Like I said, either the level designs are confusing or I'm just an idiot. Either one is very possible. Alright, I'm gonna turn up my mic here a little bit, as promised. Was a little worried about the game sounds being louder.
In the first age, in the first battle, when the shadows first lengthened, one stood, burned by the embers of
This reminds me of Aladdin, in the beginning of Aladdin, when they go into the Cave of Wonders and the voice says words in this voice. I forget which words, what the voice says at the beginning. This is pretty brutal though. Pretty demonic. Pretty metal, but I'm bored, so I'm leaving. So yeah, it's a lot easier to shoot when you have a keyboard and mouse. Obviously. Oh, and I had some trouble in this part of the game when I did the Let's Play the other time. Oh my god, okay. Alright, that was a flesh storm. That was pretty cool. Let's go. Come on. I missed. Ah. And I just wasted a frag. So yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this. I think I mentioned this before, but I discovered while playing with the keyboard and mouse that I can access my entire armament and all the weapons that are on my person, as opposed to, for some reason, oh shit, I don't want to die. I'm too young to die. As opposed, for some, okay, yeah, that's right. As opposed to using the controller, I kept pressing the bumper buttons, except it wouldn't switch to all my weapons. Nice kill sequence. I don't know if that's because I had to like press a special button to get at all my weapons, but so now this mission is going a lot better with access to my entire armament. So so I think after this, if I make enough Let's Plays to finish this game, which I'm planning on, I'll probably start on Doom 3. Or maybe I'll do Wolfenstein or something. I think Bethesda has an open door policy when it comes to doing Let's Plays of their games. I know that Doom 3 is ID Software, but I think there's Let's Plays out there. I'll do a search. It's kind of scary sounding. All in all, though, I haven't found that this game is scary like Doom 3 was, and that as I mentioned, was my favorite part of that game. Just that it was so tough to get through because you were... Oh, how do I access my chainsaw on this one? On the keyboard, I mean. Okay, I got it. It's a pretty game. Yeah, so I had some news that I wanted to talk about as well. I have some podcast-related news too, but I'll get to that in a bit. First, I wanted to talk about cryptocurrency, because the Bitcoin markets were way down a couple days ago, and I had a friend in class who was telling me about, I don't know if he was gloating, but he was saying, oh, Bitcoin, because I had been talking to him about, or telling him how I was speculating in the crypto markets, and he was saying, oh, Bitcoin is down like $800 today, haha. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of how Bitcoin goes. I've been paying attention to Bitcoin for longer. I mean, if you've been paying attention to Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies for any amount of time, you know that this is completely normal. So I said I wasn't really that worried. I think I gotta go up there. This is a mistake I made last time too. Should have learned. Patrick, you never learn. So anyways, he was saying, oh, Bitcoin, and I was like, yeah, it's fine, you know. I'm not too worried about it. I didn't put any of my own money into investing in crypto, so can wait for it to rise or fall. It's speculative at this point, in my opinion. Cool with it. My main goal is to speculate enough to take my wife, Elizabeth, on vacation. I think she knows of my plan. And let's try and look at the scenery for a second, just to appreciate the graphics. Oh, I'm getting 95 FPS right now. I overclocked a bit before starting this session, trying to push my overclock a little. I have the NVIDIA 980 Ti, and my understanding is that it's made for overclocking, so I'm doing it. At this point, it's old, getting old, so might buy a second one in a year or so. Do some SLI. I haven't putzed around with that, and I've heard that it is a little tricky to set up. So anyways, I was taking a look at, I think I've discussed in previous episodes of the podcast that I am invested in Quantum, a little bit of Quantum. It's a Chinese crypto. Omise Go, which has went up 10% today at last check. Don't want to die. Hold on. 10% today at last check. And that was for Omise Go. And what else? I'm invested in Basic Attention Token, just a bit because I believe in their project. I've been using the Brave browser for a few weeks now. I dumped Google Chrome. It's been a very good decision. The Brave browser is pretty damn fast, and I've really liked it. Ooh, quad damage. Bam! Yeah. And, yeah, so basically the Basic Attention Token, kind of lost my train of thought there. The Basic Attention Token is integrated, or it will be integrated in with the Brave browser, and it functions kind of in the way that it sounds, is that by enabling ads in the Brave browser, because the Brave browser automatically blocks all ads and scripts from installing on your, and scripts from running inside your browser unless you enable it. And if you enable it, the browser and advertisers will pay you with basic attention token, a cryptocurrency. And likewise, if you earn basic attention token, you can decide to donate your basic attention token towards your favorite websites. And I've already registered Liberty Weekly, our website, my website, to receive basic attention tokens when they unleash that feature of it, which is in the works. So I think the price of basic attention tokens is relatively low at the moment. So I was able to pick some up, and hopefully they increase exponentially in value. Maybe I've been listening too much of Jeff Berwick at the Dollar Vigilante. I just watched a video of Luke Rudkowski of We Are Change, who's visiting Jeff Berwick, the Dollar Vigilante, at his home in Acapulco, Mexico. And they were talking crypto, and I don't know, they talk it up so big, and I'm like, it's such a good investment. Or they hype it. Oh, yeah, that's nice. Look at those chunks. Well, anyways, like I was saying, they hype it, and maybe I'm a sucker for the hype, but like I said, I didn't put my own money into it, but it kind of makes me wish that I had more money to invest and speculate in these cryptos, and this is not a good situation for me. Alright, I'm going to sit here and let them come to me and shoot these rockets. And this is a bad idea, because like I said, at the very first Let's Play, the game rewards you for running headlong into combat. And I'm going to pull out his heart and shove it down his throat. Oh, never mind, that's a different animation. Oh. Walked right into that. And that was a waste of a... Oh well, did the job. Yeah, so other crypto, I don't know, I'm not really, I've just been holding and letting them sit and not really paying attention, which is, I hear that, I did a whole episode on cryptos, episode 30, libertyweekly.net/30, I talked about my whole experience there and the difference between day trading and investing or holding, and I think that as a complete amateur at this moment, I've participated a little bit in day trading, and it takes way too much like active attention to do throughout the day, and I just don't have time to focus on it. So I'm just kind of holding right now. I think if you micromanage your day trades too, I've heard that you end up trading too much, or you overthink it and you end up selling at the wrong time or entering the market with FOMO, which would be fear of missing out, and I don't want to do that, so I'm just holding at this moment, checking out some good projects that are highly recommended by people that I trust, and I'll update you on how that goes. It's been going alright so far, I think, minus the whole Bitcoin volatility, which is okay. You know, you don't deserve the big gains if you can't stomach the minor losses. We'll see if that's true. But in other big news, we did a full episode of the podcast, me being myself and my co-host Jerry McCullum, who was able to rejoin the show after a little bit of time, and I'm missing a crystal skull, sorry. It's right there. Damn it. All. To hell. Which is where I am. It's low-hanging fruit. So we did a episode of the podcast where he returned. I think it went really well. It was nice to get back into the swing of things because so I think that we were doing 2 shows a week all through the summer, and I think that might have been too much. Just, you know, because we're both busy, and sometimes doing a discussion-based show unless it's like your job and your life, I think that you run out of things to talk about in a certain sense, and you get kind of not tired, but just worn out. And I think that us having not done a show for a little while, it kind of rejuvenated that spirit, that banter between us, and I think the episode turned out really well. So I would urge y'all to check it out at libertyweekly.net/31 is where you can find that episode. Otherwise, I mean, it's attached to this YouTube page and to the BitChute page, so you can probably just look at it right there. We did the episode on Antifa and the Ben Shapiro talk that he did at Berkeley, and that was the most recent chapter in the so-called culture war. And I won't talk too much about that because we covered it all in the episode, so I would direct you once again to libertyweekly.net/31 to get the scoop on that. But one thing that I've been wanting to do with the podcast a bit more has been to connect with other shows. And I was approached a couple weeks ago. I think I mentioned... Oh, damn it. I think I mentioned in either the last episode or chapters 3 and 4 of Doom that I was in contact with Mance Raider of the Free Man Beyond the Wall podcast, who has a very successful Twitter page where he spreads the memes around and does a really good job. He's a good source for meme action, as well as having a lot of very intelligent things to say and a good perspective on voluntarism and, politics and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to interviewing him or talking with him on Wednesday. And I think that episode will either be posted on Thursday or Sunday. And I don't know if I mentioned too that I started doing some research on voluntary legal systems, informal legal systems, non-traditional legal systems that exist at the current moment all across the world in third world societies, that not only third world societies, but also in third world societies. That's what the episode is going to be focused on, or third world countries rather, where there is a competing legal system that is informal, competing with the state. And a hallmark of these systems is that they're voluntary. They don't rely on state monopoly on violence to enforce their judgments. And so that's mainly what I'm going to be looking at, is the role of social and economic pressure in enforcing court arbitration. And it should be super interesting. I'm hoping that it will kick off a series regarding those issues. And so I wanted to do the first one just introducing the subject, defining what a non-state judicial system is, give some very brief general qualities of those systems, and then in subsequent episodes I wanted to... I might have to go over there and grab some stuff. I wanted to explore the particulars of certain systems. And one that I've heard or read a bit about so far in a great book by Bruce Benson. Oh, excuse me. Like I said, it's late here. In a great book by Bruce Benson called The Enterprise of Law, Justice Without the State, he explains the legal systems of, I think, New Guinea. I think it was a tribe in New Guinea that literally has an ANCAP legal system that has been in practice and working for quite some time. I don't know if it's still currently working, but the way it was described, this is crazy right now. The way it was described, it sounds to me like it was rather successful, or at least until colonial powers came in. Oh. I'm gonna rip off his... Yep. There we go. That's brutal. Now I'm doing a lot better on this Let's Play than I did on the one we did the other night. I don't know, I think it was last night? No, the night before. That one clocked in at like an hour and 15 minutes it took me to do this frickin' level. And yeah, this one's going a lot better. I only died once so far, so... I wonder if people will watch this one, see that I die right away in the beginning, and then be like, meh, turn it off. When I'm making these videos, I always try and think of like what pulls me to other people's Let's Plays if I watch them. I don't know. So I hope that you enjoyed my wife on our last Let's Play. It was pretty fun to do. I was glad that she could be a part of it as well. She watches a lot of makeup tutorials on YouTube because her job is she's a makeup artist. And that's her specialty. So she watches a lot of other makeup artists on YouTube, and she was poking some fun at them. Entertaining. But she was good at the end. If you haven't, if for some reason you skipped over chapter 5 and you didn't listen to that last part where she was doing the outro, I would go back and listen to it because it's kind of funny. She's doing a parody of all the other makeup artists and their sign-offs. Okay, so... Oh, it's these guys. Now, one thing that I appreciated about Doom 3 is that for some of the baddies... Oh, there's more? For some of the baddies in Doom 3... And I keep heaping praise on that game, but they actually showed some of the origins of how these... So for each baddie, there would kind of be an origin of how they came to be. And for those heads, you would see a possessed member of the UAC, and they would turn, and their spinal column ripped... Oh, I'm gonna die, fuck. Their spinal column ripped out of their body with the head attached and came after you like that. And I think the impression was a lot more visceral than just having these like little demon heads turn at you and go rah, and then they come at you. Mm-hmm. There. Yeah, I'm gonna get him. He reminds me of No, not Hellraiser. What is that? Hellboy, that movie. Can't remember if there was a sequel or not. Oh, did not see that for some reason. Yep. Wait. I was also surprised at how soon they give you almost all the weapons in this game, but it makes sense from like a arcadey type format. If I recall correctly, and maybe we'll find out in later Let's Plays, in Doom 3, in Doom 3 it takes like half the game for you to acquire all the weapons in it. So that way it kind of, I feel like it gives more, excuse me, it gives you more meaning to the game. Oh, me yawning. Apologies for that. Like I said, I don't do editing. If I did editing, these Let's Plays wouldn't happen because it'd take too much of my time. Hello, Timmy. Timmy's my cat. He's the fat one. Yeah, I was talking about yawning. It reminded me of reading It, the book It, to my wife. I started. Oh, Timmy, get down, you fucker! You just made me die. My fat 20-pound cat just jumped on my lap right in front of the microphone, so I apologize for that. Timmy, go lose some weight. Do it now. So as I was saying before the 20-pound cat jumped on my lap, I saw the new It movie, and I'm a longtime fan of Stephen King. Oh, damn, I already talked about this in episode 1. So, well, anyways, new developments. I guess if you want to hear my thoughts on, like, episode 1 and 2, go back and listen to that. I didn't like the new movie as much, but so it prompted me to start reading the book to my wife at night. And I should have done it tonight, but we were just both pretty, well, she was pretty tired, so I just let her go to bed. But I recently found out that in the book, because, oh yeah, I should mention too, Actual Anarchy, our buddies at Actual Anarchy, Dan and Rob, did a episode on It with a librarian who is very familiar with the Stephen King books and had seen the old Tim Curry movie several times through his childhood, several hundred times, wearing the VHS tape out, and had read the book several times and had seen the new movie twice. So he liked the new movie, and I didn't, but that's okay. Different strokes for different folks. But he mentioned the fact that in the book, the It book by Stephen King, Beverly and the boys have an orgy at the end of the book. And keep in mind that the Losers Club, as it's called, is made up of 11 and 12-year-old boys and girls. Or boys and girl. And the girl is the one they have the orgy with at the end of the book. And it literally, I went back and I read it last night. It is literally an orgy. Or not an orgy. There's like 3 or 4 boys and Beverly at the end of the book. And this isn't really giving away any spoilers too bad, if you care about that. But at the end of the book, and the justification for this is that Beverly feels like, the only girl in the group, Beverly, feels like they need to be closer in order to defeat the monster, or something like that. So they're in the sewers amongst the gray water of shit and piss. And Beverly thinks that it's a good idea for them to have sex with her, one after the other. And Stephen King writes this. It's 11-year-old boys having sex with a 12-year-old girl in a sewer amongst the gray water. And I think I'm approaching the end of this mission here. So I'm going to try and wrap this up. But it was just kind of ridiculous, man. I don't know. I don't see the artistic advancement or the artistic quality of having that in the book, personally. Kind of shocking, really. But the funny part about it is that Stephen King is an ultra-lefty, obviously, and he hates Donald Trump with a passion, and Donald Trump tweeted this meme the other day, or not a meme, a GIF the other day, of him, his golf swing. He's doing a golf swing. He hits a golf ball. It flies up in the air, and it hits that video of Hillary Clinton, where she is getting on the plane from her campaign tour, and she trips and falls. Well, the GIF was a mashup of Donald Trump's golf swing and the golf ball swinging or flying and hitting Hillary Clinton in the back, and she falls over. And Stephen King said that something about, I don't know, a president who thinks it's funny to hit someone with a golf ball is like a sign of a really fucked up mind or something. And Ben Shapiro tweeted back at him and said, yeah, try writing a scene in a book where 4 11-year-olds have sex consecutively with a 12-year-old girl in the sewer, the gray wastewater. So I thought that was pretty funny. Not that scene, but Ben Shapiro. And the hypocrisy. The blatant hypocrisy. Stephen King is a messed up person. If you've read his books, he has a very, I mean, to his credit, in a certain sense, as a horror writer. I mean, as I mentioned, I'm a fan of his work. But that part is just weird. And I don't know if there's any artistic merit. Like, it doesn't really add much to the book. They could have, like, kissed or something. I don't know. They're 11 and 12-year-olds. It's just odd to me. And I guess it was sort of, it's been on the internet as like a meme for quite some time. The internet has had fun with that scene, making fun of it. Alright, so I'm feeling pretty good in this level. I died a couple times, but that was because Fat Timmy jumped on my lap. I honestly don't know how he got so fat. We don't feed him very much. We give him like a cup of food twice a day, maybe even less than a cup. We just think that he is a tomcat. Like the alpha of the litter or something. He's supposed to be out on the street and they get big and muscular, in quotes, and girthy. Oh, it just sounds yucky, but it's probably just that. We could maybe stand to feed him a little less, but he's a good boy. I really like him. He's my buddy, but he gets in trouble a lot, and he can be really annoying. But that's kind of part of having a cat, you know? Just loving them no matter what. Or getting rid of them. Oh, that was not smart. Fuck. Man, here I say I'm doing well. I'm gonna grab that beer. Apologies for the mouth noises. I know that really bothers some people. Tried to minimize it. Okay, I think I'm going in the right direction. This really set me back, motherfucker. And I can't blame it on Timmy this time. So we're gonna grab the quad damage and waste it all because there's no enemies right now. I'm just wasting all my rockets. Balls. Maybe I should just kill myself and start over again. Save that quad damage for when I really need it. Big boy. It's a Timmy. Oh, no. Like I said, should have saved that quad damage. Wasn't thinking. I was eager. Just eager McBeaver from that episode of SpongeBob. Fuck. This is the very end of the mission, so bear with me. I think there's a cool outro sequence. Oh, another thing I wanted to talk about that was pissing me off today was the new soccer stadium being built in St. Paul. So, if you live in the Twin Cities area or are familiar with either the MLS, the Major League Soccer in the United States, or the Twin Cities area, I think I said that, but they are putting a new stadium in on the corner of Snelling and University, or thereabouts. Basically the corner of Snelling and 94, because Snelling goes over 94, which runs east and west, Snelling north and south. Between St. Paul and Minneapolis is basically the corridor of Snelling running north and south. And I don't know, that might be a good division line between the two cities. But anyways, I saved that quad damage this time. They are putting that new soccer stadium in. And of course, as we know, all major league teams in the United States have stadiums that are funded with taxpayer money, which is absolute bullshit. It's fascist collusion between private interests and government, and it's absolutely abhorrent, but yet it exists. It's the bread and games of our great American empire that is currently collapsing as we speak, with the demise of the petrodollar and the ending of the dying of our empire, the interests of our empire and the influence of our empire. So they are creating these stadiums, and there's a service road that is very integral to traffic running alongside 94 from North Hamlin to Snelling. And in order to get on 94, from a certain part of the city, you have to go through this corridor, this service road. Or else you would have to go through University Avenue, and University Avenue is a fucking shithole. It is ghetto as hell, and it sucks. They started gentrifying it, but there's a lot of stoplights, and it takes forever to get through. It's super congested, and it's where the light rail runs through of Frogtown, which is a ghetto. A partial ghetto in the Twin... God damn it. Damn it! Well, at least I have something to talk about. But it's a partial ghetto that is in the Twin Cities. It's a historically black neighborhood. Apparently, it was doing rather well until the Interstate 94 was built. And 94 cut right through Frogtown and basically destroyed this African-American neighborhood. So we see the state's influence there. And plus it has to do too with zoning laws, and we kind of talk about this in property law class, where we do a walking tour of the neighborhood. But it's a historically black neighborhood destroyed by 94 running through it back in the 50s or 60s or something. I don't know. I digress because that's kind of off topic. But essentially you have this MLS soccer league stadium being built on University Avenue, which is kind of a ghetto, and I don't understand whether it's part of the gentrification effort, because they've been trying to gentrify the area by building super duper high class, in quotes, apartment buildings along University Avenue. But I mean, it's like putting makeup on a pig, because the area sucks. And so they're putting this MLS stadium in, and it's closed this service road, which makes it super inconvenient for parts of my commute, very selfishly, but it's a big deal. And to get to my final point, after a bunch of rambling, apologies, the construction companies have been allowed to park their heavy-duty machinery equipment on this fucking service road so that no one else can fucking use it. It's the worst. And there's something could be said about the fact that these heavy trucks are always hauling in or out dirt or some kind of construction materials to the area, but it infuriates me that they will allow the construction companies to park their heavy duty equipment there. You know, park it on your own fucking private property. Don't impede the roadway. If you're gonna open a roadway for public use, don't allow private entities to park their fucking machinery on it. It's infuriating. And it increases my commute by about 20 minutes. Unless I go a different direction, in which case it increases my commute by 10 minutes. It's just asinine. But it's pretty much par for the course for the Twin Cities. And to continue on the Twin Cities, it's a local conspiracy that the Metropolitan City Council has been purposely bottlenecking the roads or refusing to improve the situation of the roads because they want to encourage people to take Metro Transit. And in fact, there are billboards that will go up around the city saying it's like the website is congestionmn.org or something, and it's basically been documenting the fact that the Twin Cities is like the second, third, or fourth most congested metropolitan area traffic-wise in the country. It is awful. And like apparently the Twin Cities are home to like the worst traffic bottlenecks in the country. Like, just ridiculous. And traffic here is awful, and the roads suck too. And I'm not just saying that. And I've whined and complained about this a little bit on the podcast in earlier episodes too, but there's a certain road that I need to take when I come home from recording at Jerry's house, and it's off of Interstate 280. If any of my listeners are from the Twin Cities, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. But as you're coming south on 280, it links up with 94, and there is standing water all the time in the road, and it's washboarded out. And this is not some like piddling road. It is a major artery connecting 280, which is one of the only ways to go north and south in between Minneapolis and St. Paul, with 94, which is the main artery traveling east and west. It's just ridiculous. And I think we are, yep. So I think this is my sarcophagus that they got and resurrected me out of in the game. So, and this is that doc guy you've been communicating with. He looks like a robot. He is a robot. Don't know any humans that look like that. So I'm going to let you enjoy the cinematics if there are any. Nope, nothing? Alright, fair enough. Okay, well, let's take a little look at the scenery before we depart here. Well, I really appreciate you guys checking out another Let's Play of mine that I'm doing as part of the Liberty Weekly podcast. I really feel like I'm getting a little better at doing these. I guess I don't want to speak for myself. If you agree, hit the like button. I would urge you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, moreover, I would urge you to check out my podcast at libertyweekly.net. You can find the show notes for any episode by typing in libertyweekly.net/the episode number. And I would also, if you like my work, I would ask you to help support it by becoming a Patreon a patron on Patreon. You can find my Patreon page by navigating to libertyweekly.net, or excuse me, patreon.com/libertyweekly. So keep an eye out I got episodes coming out this weekend, probably episode drop on Thursday. You can check out my latest episode at libertyweekly.net/31, Antifa, Ben Shapiro, and Free Expression. Alrighty, and with that, I'm going to close up this episode. We'll see if there's any cinematics. Okay. Alright, everyone. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.